Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Yo, what up, though, people? Like to welcome you back to the Keep It a C-Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. To the left of me, you got
your boy John, aka I'm gonna be Kanye today because my jaw a little swollen
still
from oral surgery. But yeah,
he threw the wire.
I'm still here though. But
and to the left of Ye, we got
Vito in the building.
Just Vito today for the record.
Young Vito.
Okay, forever young. Everybody that's tuned in, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, please hit the sub button, hit the like button. Please don't be afraid to share it with a friend. First of all, condolences to P&B Rock. September 12th, he was murdered in L.A. At a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. So we had not talked about it. Just keep it a C-note with everything you heard. Is there like anything you want to say about it?
I'm not surprised that it being another rapper being killed. It's unfortunate from Empire or around affiliated with that circle. But it's unfortunate. It's a shame. Like I was saying, I think it's one of the most dangerous jobs out there, and he was out there lacking. I was like, you can't do that everywhere. You can't wear your jewelry.
So why you say lacking? Like exactly why?
Lacking meaning that you out there, you got a fancy ass car outside of this fucked up ass Roscoe's. And then you got a fancy ass car. You inside with just you and your girl. You got all this jewelry on. You ain't got no gun. The shit probably in the car, if anything.
Right.
Like you just are sitting lit. To be honest, like why would you set yourself up like that? Knowing that's not your hometown, but I know that you comfortable out there. You've been out there, but still, like L.A., they don't play like that. And Ice-T. He put out a tweet that I kind of agree with. He's like, you don't see like them West Coast big artists out there wearing their chains. You don't see like the Dr. Dre's, the Kendricks, the Game. They're not rocking them like on the daily out there, LA, because like why testing it? Like niggas out here hungry.
What's your thoughts on it, Vito? Anything you feel about it? Like anything with the situation?
Well, I seen a few interviews where he said niggas tried him before out there, but he said coming from where he's from, he can kind of see shit coming.
Right.
But that ain't always gonna be the case. For one. For two, if you walk around with 100,000 plus around your neck and wrists,
anybody
don't be too proud to have security. If you can afford that around your neck, you can afford security, especially if you got your woman and your child with you. Nigga, you're never too tough to have security.
Right.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm just tired of the way that we carry our wealth around us. I mean, and amongst the public. Like, you don't have to flaunt all that jewelry and shit like that. But at
the end of the day,
it is a free country.
Of your labor. So the way I rock, I'm not gonna let somebody like if I see a Bentley or a chain, even though I'm not really into chains or a crazy watch. I'm not gonna not buy the motherfucker just on the fact that somebody could take it from me. I don't live like that.
But to the average white guy that's rich, how do they carry themselves? Do you think they dressing, or is it provocative as we are with
it's all about
being fancy and all that?
It's all about how you come up. Because think about the younger white guys that are more into hip hop, like Jake Paul and his brother. Them motherfuckers rock crazy jewelry,
right? But Jake Paul and them ain't gonna be in nobody's hood.
But I'm saying they still rock the crazy chains and the watches.
They're coachable, but
okay, he's the professor early on this episode. But listen, we hear a lot of blame and we hear a lot of this might have happened, that might have happened. Dropping the location. What do you feel? Was that partially to blame? Yeah. Do you believe that somebody could actually watch her page to prey on P&B Rock?
No, because don't know who the fuck knows her.
But she's a model.
Yeah, she might be a model. But listen, where's she from?
I don't know where she's
well,
from. It'll be on the screen now.
PNB from Philly.
Right.
I don't know who she is, and I'm from Philly.
Right, that's a fact.
So the average motherfucker in Cali don't know who she is. I'm quite sure they might have seen him going in. The motherfuckers, it ain't like he no little guy, he a tall motherfucker. You can't miss him, especially with all that jewelry on.
Right. What's your thoughts on that, John?
I mean, I'm a little indifferent because I'm a little pissed off at social media. I hate the ways that sometimes we use social media just to take a picture of a goddamn meal. I'm from the area where you actually had to be there. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I guess that's what these folks got to do. They got to post food. They got to post where you're at and shit. Right. And I just find that shit, like, it's pointless. For real, all you're doing is trying to appease to these fans or whatever. But you're an artist. I think there's other ways and other avenues that you could take. But, I mean, I do not agree with that whole social media putting out everything, locations, this, that, and the third. A lot of rappers got smoked being on live and just dropping addies and shit like that. For what? What?
Right. I definitely agree with you.
But I don't believe that was the case for his
I
situation.
don't agree either.
I don't think her
so
location drop got him.
Another rumor that we don't know if it's true or not, but it's out there on the internet, is basically they just got back together. He had his guys from Philly out there, and she basically made him choose her or the guys, and he sent the guys home. If that's the case, how do you feel about that? Pause. Keep it to C-note.
Now, I definitely could believe that because I know women are good for giving out ultimatums, which makes zero sense because those guys are his security, basically.
Right.
Because it's harder to run down on 5 niggas than it is 1.
Right.
It's too many moving parts.
Right.
And I know women are good for that. Oh, it's either them or me. Like, why would you even, like, you'll use your child as a pawn. Now, like you said, rumor, so we don't know this for sure.
Right.
But women will use their children as pawns, you know what I'm saying, to make a guy make a certain move, put the pressure on him. And who gonna not choose their child over their homies?
Right.
You know
What's your thoughts, John?
I don't know what was going on and what was going through their minds or what argument transpired or how they like mended it, but for the fact that he sent his homies home was the worst mistake ever, and for her to be okay with that and not know like his type of status, like, and where they were, and like, I don't know, it's the shit didn't add up. It wasn't a smart move. Why would you send your homies home? If anything, if that was me and Shorty, we're beefing with, all right, fellas, you know, I got y'all meal, but yo, y'all gonna have to go on another side of the restaurant, keep watching my back or something like that.
Right.
But like me and Shorty, this is me and her. We got to work this out right now.
Right.
But I'm not sending my boys home. But after we leave that night, you know what I mean, things can change from that point on. But like, you at a Roscoe's with a fly ass car right outside, you just anybody can see you.
You just out there, period.
Period.
I mean, I wouldn't have sent my guys home too. And listen, we don't know. Like I said, it's alleged, so we don't know if it's true. But I said, if it was true, like, just use a little common sense. My theory was this, and I know we see the jewelry and we see the fancy car and we think change, got it like that. But my theory was this, because I've read stories that he had a bunch of guys out there living with him. So he probably was taking care of them. And as the female, sometimes she'll see.
Oh, yeah.
She'll see when the money is low before we do, or before we actually want to realize that the money ain't the same. So my thing was, if it's true, I can see it being a money issue. And they don't really, because if you send them home and then you don't pay for security, like everybody's saying is arrogance, but what if we're not reading through the movie because he's a rapper? What if he didn't really have that money?
Right.
He didn't really have that money. And that's me personally. I would think that's the only reason why a wife would trip, either that or she fears that eventually something bad is gonna happen by him. Them would be my only two thoughts.
I can see her not having no loyalty, because you know how it is with guys and their guys. Like, it's loyalty there, and you don't want to see your homies not eat.
Right.
On the flip side, she don't have no loyalty to them because she ain't grew up with them, so she's looking at it a different way. Yo, them motherfuckers is in the way,
and they taking away from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I agree with that. All right, so last one, I even asked John this. You know the conspiracy theorists is out there. We may be sitting at this whole table may be conspiracy theorists. There's a bunch of videos out there saying that P&B Rock was sacrificed. Me and John talked about it the other day, and John was like, he's not a big enough rapper to be sacrificed.
No, that we know of.
Right.
Because
not just
some of these dudes, we be like, man, they ain't that big, but nobody thought Flo Rida was making that much money.
Right. And he does have songs with everybody, but not just
and behind
that,
the
though.
scenes, he write for people.
Not just that, though. A lot of the videos say that most of the times the smaller artists are sacrificed for somebody that's a bigger artist.
This is my question: like, who was he sacrificed for? Because
I don't know.
That's a good question.
That would be a good question. That's why I'm asking y'all. Do y'all
like the whole lick to me seems like it was too good to be true. For me, or that could be the movie that they're running because they're showing you everything that what he did wrong being out in LA. I mean, at a Roscoe's that wasn't a good one. Out with his jewels on, without a gun, without his boys there, and his girl posting. That could all definitely be part of the movie, but at the same time, it could just be like any random, bull looking for a lick could drive by and see that easy bag. So I don't know. It could definitely, but as easy as it looks, it definitely could be a movie that they running on us. Who knows?
All right, but before we get to the next topic, let me just ask you this to feed off of that, John. Mm-hmm. The Nipsey Hussle thing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was random? It was like all this stuff that was happening. Do you think the guy was sent there to kill Nip?
Yep.
You think?
I believe so too. You just don't. Ain't no random nigga just gonna kill Nip. As much clout.
So that couldn't be the case for P&B. Ain't no random. Just
I can believe that could be random.
Yeah, it's definitely
like
true.
it could have been an employee inside the store. Like, yo, this nigga got all this jewelry on. Come holler at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. And there was too many things coming out about the other bull that just didn't add up. And we known that he was talking with police, and who knows what talks happened behind closed doors and what he had to do.
And once I found out that Nick was trying to create his own, like how Akon got his own like little city in Africa.
Right.
They said Nick was trying to create his own thing that was all based on Bitcoin.
Right.
So, when you start playing with them people money.
Like and they said he had like some type of ties with the a casino or something, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
That was all part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they said, all that shit Dr. King went through, they ain't ever run down on him till he was started talking about that money.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, people, rest in peace, P&B Rock. Wish your thoughts on the whole situation. Him getting murdered out of L.A., the sending the homies home allegedly, the girl dropping the location, having all the jewelry on in the hood. Keep it a C note, let us know. One last thing off the P&B thing. If you were a rapper, are you doing the checking in thing out West Philly? I mean, out West, not West Philly, pardon me, out West Coast?
It depends. Like, I have no problem with, I don't see it as checking in. I see it as touching bases.
Right.
You're not from out there. So you always want to have ties to somebody out. But now, if you don't know nobody, then you can't do none of the above.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, even in the city, if I go to a different part of the city and there's somebody out there, if I'm going out there to do something, and I know somebody out there, I might touch base with them if I'm going out there to do something. But if I'm just breezing through, then I'm breezing through.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you in a whole nother state. Politics is different in different states. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't make you less tough. Come on, man.
What's your thoughts, John?
Same exact. If I know the folks and I'm going to a city, I don't know the politics over there. Boom, bang, boom. If I'm just stopping through for whatever reason, not trying to make no bread or nothing, I'm gonna keep on breezing through. But if I'm going into somebody else's city and I know that they run in that city, they this, that, and the third, and I would call, but that's something else when they want a bag or something. That's different.
To me, I my bad, you wasn't done. Go ahead.
No, because I know sometimes they want you to come to perform at a little bar or something, come to an after party.
If they cut you a check though, that's business.
Yeah, it
to
is
me.
business. Yeah, and that's likely what might happen. I'll do something for them, they do something for me.
All right, but my thing is, let's think local. Back in the day, you out partying. Mm-hmm. You in a different part of the city, and it's your homie part of the city. You might hit your homie up like, yo, I'm down here partying where the chicks at, or comes, you know what I mean? And to me, I think the checking in thing got blown out of proportion, maybe because they call it checking in, and everybody work with an ego. But to me, I'm not from Cali. I'm not nowhere over there. So if I come over there, it's only right that I'm going to want somebody to show me, like, yo, this is where it's popping at. Yo, it's not cool to do this, and it's not, because sometimes we be ignorant, and not only ignorant, we be so damn tough. You know what I mean? Shout out Tough Crew, but we be so damn tough sometimes, you know, that we don't.
I could dig it, because you want to make your money if you're doing like a little concert or something in another city.
My thing is this, right? Because everybody always look at stuff like rap. Just say you just a regular person and you going out there to Cali, you going out there to LA, you a regular dude, but you know Vito live out there. 9 times out of 10, you going to hit Vito up like, yo, what's up? I'm out here, damn, you know what I mean? I you know, but again, with rappers, they have, it's some image that come with that. So I guess maybe that's why they work with it. But since we talked about like sacrifice, maybe he could have been sacrificed. We talked a bunch of things, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about the lady dropping the location. So we know about allegedly these secret societies. But are women the most powerful creatures on the earth? Yes or no? Keep it a C note.
I'm going to say yes.
Why you say yeah?
I say yes for one. Growing up as a child, women are smarter earlier.
Right.
They know the game. Like, women are into getting houses and getting degrees way before niggas even think about that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because niggas dabble in the streets. Women are already on their shit, for one. And for two, the number one commodity in this world is pussy.
Right.
Niggas, well, not all niggas. Some niggas do shit for themselves just because they want to. Like, some niggas might buy jewelry because that's what they like. They might buy nice cars. But many lame niggas, like, especially 90% of the motherfuckers who ride motorcycles, they only get motorcycles because they know women like to ride on the bikes.
Okay.
At the end of the day, women make niggas do what they do.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. What's your thoughts on it, John?
I mean, I agree. Outside the corporate world, but no, I see women. They are the most powerful being on earth. They are the creators of everything of all of us that you see here. So I would definitely have to.
Hold on, what you mean outside of the corporate world? Because
I mean, you know,
they
like
corporate, that shit too.
They do, but I still think it's male dominated.
It's male dominated.
But women, they had their foot in it. But
think about how many women are getting jobs, getting promoted strictly on the strength that they might be popping the balls.
I think there's also a lot of women that get short-ended because they are a woman.
I think those professional fields is what the men is trying to hold on to. Like, that's the only thing we want to box the ladies out. But even though with that, most of that is bull crap, because whoever owned that top corporation, and best believe if his wife is whispering in his ear, he's going to go with that. I agree too. I just put it like this. You work 10-hour shifts, you meet a female, you know what I mean? After you get off work, you might come home, play the game for an hour or two and talk to the chick, right? All of a sudden, y'all together, and that same chick will make it seem like you wasted that whole 1-2 hours of your life playing the game, and you'll change it. Vito, same thing with you, Vito. You just met a female. You working 12-hour shifts. You driving and all this, that, and the third. Now, shorty know that you watch porn 4 or 5 hours out the week. Now, all of a sudden, y'all together and she don't want you watching porn. You understand what
I definitely understand that, but you ain't gonna stop me from watching porn. Fuck what you talking about.
You know what I mean? Well, what's your thoughts on
this? Listen, I'm gonna say this. you best believe Michelle Obama had some input on them decisions Barack was making.
Ain't no doubt.
Absolutely.
Ain't no doubt. What's your thoughts on it, people? Are women the most powerful creatures on earth? Keep it a C note. Let us know.
Illinois, the Safety Act, AKA in conspiracy world.
Explain to the people that don't know what it is.
Okay, the Safety Act, part of it is already went in effect in 2021. As of January 2020, January 1st, they're doing away with cash bails.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be up to the judge's discretion after you catch a case, whether they let you go on bail. Without bail, or if they detain you, they can put you on house arrest before trial. It's certain cases that they're saying that automatically you still don't get to come home,
like homicide.
But what's your thoughts on it? Let me
say this: this is new, but it's kind of similar to before when we used to get RR. Back in the day, you can get locked up with a gun. Like I give you a prime example. Back in the day, I got locked up for aggravated assault.
Right.
The guy in the cell next to me got locked up with he had a 9mm extended clip, hollow tips, cop killer bullets in his gun. He was able to leave on ROR. ROR, for y'all who don't know, is release on own recognizance. You sign yourself out and you go home.
Right.
Mind you, like I said, he got caught with a gun with hollow tip, cop killer bullets in it, extended clip, all that shit. Me, I just was in a fight, and the motherfucker pressed charges. I had to go up the county. I went up CFC, I went to DC, sat for like fucking 3 weeks for that shit, where this man was able to go home with a gun.
Right.
So this is new, but it's kind of similar to that, in my opinion.
How do you feel about the bill, though? Are you cool with it? No.
It's too early for me to say yes or no, because some motherfuckers instant, like when they were saying pass the law of like you don't need a license to carry.
Right.
But at the end, everybody was going crazy. But at the end, they don't realize that just because you didn't need the license doesn't mean that anybody can still get the gun.
Right.
A convicted felon couldn't get the gun.
Right.
So it will still be the same criteria, just not the license.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too early for me to say. I got to see further on, like, what comes of this.
Okay. What's your thoughts on it, John?
I think they went way overboard. They OD'd to show something for, I don't know what it is.
Somebody trying to get reelected.
All I wanted was like for someone that like with a common sense just to realize whether a person should be deemed whether or not it should be a cash bail or not. Now they just say, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna get rid of the cash bail or whatever because they can't get like civil equal rights and shit for a person with common sense to decide whether or not a person deserves bail or not.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a tactic or a response by what's been going on in Texas, because Texas, they've been bushing out a whole bunch of migrants
right
up to like Chicago. Chicago's been busting them other places in Illinois. So who knows what this might come of? Are we looking at a future purge or something? Because the motherfucker could shoot, get arrested, come back out, and finish what he started and shit like hours later. Like, who knows?
At the end of the day, niggas, they gonna do what they do, whether they got bail or not. Once they come home,
that's what I'm saying.
Who they are.
I wish somebody with like common sense, could give appropriate cash bails and give appropriate bails to those who actually deserve it. That's all I'm asking for.
But at the end of the day, my thing is, even with the cash bails, like I said, you should be able to get RR for a gun. It's just having a gun, not committing a crime with the gun. Nowadays, if you get caught with a gun, your bail will be a ransom bail. Your shit will be $50,000.
All I'm saying is that if it was little Ray J or JJ from around O Block or whatever, and he did like a DUI crash and crashed into somebody, and it was the same thing for some girl named Becky who did the same thing. Like, he's not going. What if he don't get that bail and she does get that bail out? That's the unevenness that I'm just.
That's why I kind of agree with it, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but it's actually the other way. Because if I'm innocent, why would I have to sit in jail because I can't afford to pay my bail?
I agree with that, Vito. I'm cool with the bail, and I just think it's the little trickery that they like to play because I know you say you calling yourself Kanye today, but this is where I think Professor X should come out, right? Because you are the guy that a lot of times say that they use jail to keep us locked in as the blacks. Well, their main reason for passing this bill was that everyone should have the right to fight their case from the streets. And if Vito doesn't have the money, but he has the same case that I do, but I have the money, it shouldn't be fair that I get to go home and he's punished because he's broke.
In circumstances like that, I totally agree with.
The thing is, if you do it the way you're saying do it, where a person still, then that still leaves a chance for bias. You see what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the brothers that's going to be the ones, if you leave it up to somebody to say, oh, he shouldn't be able to go home. He shouldn't be able to go home. Yep. You know what I mean? And it almost go back to say, you was a kid and you was getting in a lot of fights, but now you got 15 years later, you're locked up. They say you committed a homicide. Now they're going to try to keep you in jail because they said as a kid, you was a guy that was a fighter. Now this same other guy that got the money, they going to let him just breeze right through the system because, you know what I mean, he qualified. And I think that's where it got mixed up at a lot, even with the programs. Oh, if you got this amount of drugs on you, you qualify for rehab and all of that. And I think that's kind of what messed the game up. So it's like these politicians are saying, if you don't want the blacks, if you want to complain about the blacks being locked up, we gonna let everybody go.
See, here's my thing, and I mean, I'm all for the blacks and all this, but these same folks that we're letting out, like with Krasner and his light gun laws, this, that, and the third. We had all these shootings, right? It wasn't against white folks. We're killing our own selves. I'm just trying to just put a pause or slow down on us killing ourselves. It's not like we're out there. I wish I could go out there and stop like the other bullshit, like the resistant arrest and shit like that. But it's really the biggest thing is that we're killing ourselves. I mean, they know that, but out Chicago, all them homicides, most of them is black. So most of them, when they get caught, they can't come home. So
let me say this though. Brown, you know firsthand as well, because when you're on the streets fighting a case, your court dates are much closer.
Right.
When you're in jail fighting a case, think about it. If you can't afford bail, 9 out of 10, you can't afford a lawyer. So if you got a PD got a stack of cases this high every day. So if I got a court date coming up this month, I might not even go there. Take me down on the bus. I go down, sit in the hotel all day long, and I won't even get seen. My next court date won't be to a fucking year. Then a year, 6 months, a year later, and you sitting in there all this time for a petty case just because you can't afford to pay bail. Right. You'll sit 2-3 years for $300.
How about this one, John? Like, you've done nothing your whole life, not even a parking ticket. You get into you was out, you had a couple drinks, you get into an accident, somebody dies. Should you be allowed to have bail? Because a lot of times you ain't gonna get no bail on them DUIs, or the bail gonna be sky high. So
I would have to abide by whatever the law is of the land at the time. Now, if I have to go to jail, then that's what I have to do because my dumb ass got into the accident, DUI, whatever. But at the end of the day, I had to stop and think. I do agree with you on the cash bail because at the end of the day, nothing on justice is fair and equal. Justice and everything is all about money. And like you want that court trial to go faster, you get yourself a lawyer. And you buy everything is all about money. And especially with these guys, all these rappers and stuff going to court, it's all about money. They draining you for your money.
Even with y'all saying with the money, because even with Vito, like, you'll have that same case in a public defender, lose your case, or I say, look, the DA offered you 5 to 10, and then you'll have a paid lawyer. They just come right in and get rid of the case.
Your freedom is dependent on.
Let me give you an example of how rotten these motherfuckers is. I had got locked up one time, and I got because we had rented. You know how you rent a car from a fiend,
right?
Rent a car from the fiend, but the fiend took the car from somebody. So they reported stolen. I get locked up in the car. Had a bag of weed on me. So they threw out the case for the car.
Right.
But when I went back to court for mind you, no, matter of fact, it went further back than that. We got booked for serving somebody.
Okay.
They ain't find nothing on me.
Okay.
Like they pulled the nigga off the bus, all the extra shit. All they found was one bag of weed on me that I was getting ready to smoke.
Right.
And then the situation with the car, they threw the car case out, but I still had a case for that one bag of weed. So I had to go back down to court for the bag of weed. Mind you, the bail for the car would have been only $50. But being as though I forgot about, I had that weed case. One bag of weed. I had to sit in the F. They raised my bail from $50 to $250. So basically, it was $200 bag of weed. And then when I went to court, the DA, you know how you go when you in the courtroom, they got that little office right before you go in the courtroom.
Right.
They take me in there. I had a PD. PD says, well, they're offering 9 months of probation for you. I'm like, for back week? No, we can fight that. He leave out the room, come right back. He didn't even go in the court. He don't know that I seen him.
Right. Come
right back in and say, all right, the judge said you're free to go. So what he basically did, he was trying to finesse me to take 9 months probation. So I would have the bags that you put the weed, consider empty. I know a dude took probation empty because he didn't know any better.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on it, people? Illinois Safety Act, no cash bail provisions. What's your thoughts on it? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Keep it a C note. Flip it for conspiracy theorists. Allegedly, Parkway Gardens in Chicago, the infamous O Block that all the rappers rapped about, has been sold. And reportedly, demolition is set for 2023, and they're finna relocate everybody from that housing projects throughout Chicago. No big deal. Is it a coincidence? Like, keep it a C note.
All I'm gonna say is that those who do live in like low income, high rise projects, y'all better start getting your housing voucher together for another place, because that is the new real estate move. Like, they're taking these projects, people are buying them, and then they know that they can get a lot more money for it. Either they're gonna knock them down, rebuild it, and it actually just happened in West Philly. The West Philly townhomes, same thing just happened, and they've been picketing and trying to protest against them, trying to get rid of it, but a new private buyer came in and bought them, right. So everybody in there, they got to go. And what they did was they gave them a voucher, but y'all don't realize that voucher takes time for them to find you a place. So, like, if y'all don't take that step up and now to go, like, look for a spot, y'all going to be out on the street, and these folks don't care. It's all about money to me. I ain't surprised.
What's your thoughts, Vito?
Listen, this all I'm going to say is, and I've noticed this. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but think about all the high-rise projects,
right?
Especially in Philly. They're tearing them down, for one, because they can't be properly policed.
Right.
Like, if I'm on the 45th floor, how the cops ain't got no chance of coming up there.
Right.
By the time they get up there, everything's gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're tearing them down. And then on the fact that you have people coming in and gentrifying the neighborhoods, and they're buying up this land, and they're basically they're tearing down the project building but rebuild the high-rise condo, which is the same thing. It's just the price is through the roof.
Right.
9 times out of 10, the apartments be the same fucking size.
Yeah, but the grass is going to get cut. They're going to look all nice out front.
Yeah, but see, I'm looking at it at a totally different way, because this project is infamous, and we've had it in our city. Projects that are beefing with other parts of the city, and now their buildings get torn down, and they're going to be integrated in these different neighborhoods right after they just passed a Safety Act in Illinois. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, even though Vito say I am.
Yes.
But I'm not blind to the fact of why I see people calling it a purge law, and that the purge is coming, because you are about to displace a lot of people. And
the beef ain't gonna stop.
No, the beef is gonna intensify. You know what I mean?
Like, when the shit happened, Katrina happened in New Orleans, and they moved all the people from New Orleans, Texas, Atlanta, and all that shit.
Right.
And in Texas, like Atlanta, in New Orleans, they had a law like within 30 days, like you can kill somebody, but if a witness doesn't show up within 30 days, they'll let you go. This is in New Orleans.
Right.
But they were used to that. So when they started going to places like Texas, Texas specialized in capital murders.
Right.
So once they got out there and started running down on shit, and shit changed. Like even T.I. got a song where he says, these motherfuckers from New Orleans been doing all this killing all summer. So they looking at it like, y'all think that just because y'all moving these motherfuckers out of where they're from, they still gonna be who they are.
So I was dry snitching like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna find a song for you to send it to you.
Hey, listen. Again, Vito says I'm a conspiracy theorist. We talked about The Wire a while ago, but I'm starting to see that a lot of these shows from the early 2000s was getting us ready for what was about to occur. And I just want to mention The Wire because when I was talking to somebody about them tearing Oouuber down, he like, Brown, that ain't going to bring no tension. And he couldn't see it for what it was worth until I broke it down into The Wire. I said, remember on season 3 of The Wire, they tore the buildings down, and then Avon and them guys had to go find other places to hustle. That's where they encountered Marlo and Chris and these other killers. And so, and when I broke it down to him, he like, oh, yeah, I understand what you saying. So, I don't know, but it might be a thing. But, what's your thoughts on it, people? Parkway Gardens, a.k.a. Oouuber, out Chicago, has reportedly been sold and will be up for demolition in 2023. Is it a conspiracy? Keep the C note. Brett Favre. Anybody up here, Brett Favre guy? Ever was? I used to like Brett Favre. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. As a what else? What else can we don't know him as nothing else, Vito. That's the only way. Yeah. Okay, so Brett Favre got a lot going on. He's locked in on a scandal from welfare. They saying that they took money from welfare. They schemed and scammed.
Poorest state in the U.S.
Yup. Keep it a C-note. How you feel about it? I know you feel some type of way when you said that, John.
Yeah, because if it was anybody else, they would have been out there being crucifixed. They would have been out there made an example out of. They would have brought this shit to light so fucking fast. But the media, they good for that shit. A lot of these white athletes, they get to sweep that shit under the fucking rug.
Right.
It ain't fucking right. But what you think?
What you got, Vito?
First of all, this motherfucker make up $100 million for his career, man. What else needs to be said? Like, why did he even have to do that? And like you said, not to mention, that's just probably from football contracts. We're not talking about endorsements. And when you play for a specific city, like you might get nationwide endorsements, but you also get local endorsements for whatever city you play for. Right. So ain't no telling how much money he made that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
He's doing that same shit.
Let me keep it a C note real quick, right? Because a lot of times, and I'm going to go on my Professor X John, a lot of times when we talk about Jordan, a lot of the people try to hold that against him. He got a gambling problem. He was gambling for this amount of time. But where a lot of us are failing to realize, Vito, when you ask, he had $100 million contract. Why would he do that? I don't know if y'all forgot, but at one point in time, Brett Favre was basically a junkie because he was addicted to painkillers. You remember that, right? Yeah, I remember that. So, the $100 million, where it went. It went to painkillers. So at the end of the day, my thing is this. Only a snake and a junkie is ever going to try to scheme and scam you out of money, especially if it's like John saying, like one of the poorest, you said cities, right? Yeah. One of the poorest cities, like one of the people, if you're a scheme of grandmom that don't got it, like you either is a snake or, you're a junkie because them the only people to do that. So I don't look at Brett Favre no type of way. It's messed up that he did it, but that's what junkies do.
At the time,
you know what I mean?
But
and
right now, looking back at it,
I'm looking back at it like that, like.
But if he's up on top now, like to try to make things right, you should have done something back to the state to hurry up and fix your wrongs before it came to light.
Right. Well, I mean, I know one of the issues was that he paid the money back, but he didn't want to pay back the interest on the money. So how you feel about that? Would you be willing to pay the interest back?
If I have to, I would. Fuck you talking about?
I'm saying if they saying, look, you took this amount, he's saying I didn't know it came from welfare and I'll pay it back, but you pay it back, but don't pay the interest.
Why do you have to pay interest though? Whatever I got is what I should pay back. I should have to pay extra money like y'all hustling me now.
Right. What's your thoughts on it, people? Brett Farve, former Green Bay Packer, he's caught up in a whole scandal with welfare, scheming for money. How do you feel about it? Keep it a C note. Miami Dolphins, they off to a nice start. We once talked about Brian Flores, their old coach. He was suing the Dolphins and all of that, but lately he's been getting drugged through social media, especially on Twitter, basically because of the success of Tua and the Dolphins. And they're saying that fans are saying that Flores basically was stunting Tua's growth. Keep it a C-note. How you feel about that? Is the criticism justified?
If Tua could keep this up for a few more weeks, and this is actually the player that we're seeing right now, then yeah. Flores, like, what the hell was wrong with you, bro? Why was you holding this man back? I think he was holding this man's career back if this dude is really that talented. I mean, he had a great game, but, I mean, if that continues and we see what type of player the potential and what he's capable of, then yeah, like, what the hell was he thinking?
What's your thoughts, Vito?
Because you gotta look at it like this. If I'm not mistaken, Flores is a defensive-oriented coach,
right?
So it depends on your scheme. Like, if you're a defensive-oriented coach, 9 out of 10, your draft picks are going to be more so surrounded by defense.
That's true.
Think about it. Like, I promise it with y'all. When y'all had Jeff Fisher and y'all had Golf looked like shit.
Right.
As soon as y'all got McVay, y'all went to the fucking Super Bowl because he put Golf in a better situation.
Right.
But let me ask you a question, though. What is the most important position on the football team?
The quarterback.
All right, so how could he not ignore that, though? I know he's a defensive coach or whatever, but this is the most important.
But what is the
saying since the beginning of the time? Defense wins championships.
That's true.
Right.
So that's how they're thinking, especially a defensive coach.
Okay.
Let me say this. Because you can win the Super Bowl without having a superstar quarterback.
Right.
But look, if you stunting him, you holding him back. He was young. He could have had a possibility of being a nice franchise quarterback.
Listen,
we don't know what could have happened.
All right, but he's not a franchise.
Listen,
he could have been good for the Dolphins, though.
I'ma just say this: slow down, go fast, and that's that everybody's saying that. Brian Flores probably is not the best head coach. He probably prioritizes defense a lot. But everybody that's on Twitter getting crazy, even y'all, what we got to look at is Tua wasn't playing with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle or none of them guys back then. So those guys are making him look better. So, you know what I mean? Like, I do agree because I seen a couple tweets that was saying, like, you know, Tua had that game. He threw 6 touchdowns. They came back and won. But a lot of people were saying if it was Flores, they would have pulled him early. He would have benched him.
And let's not act like a lot. Mind you, he balled out, but let's not act like Baltimore didn't fuck up with a lot of broken coverage because them was wide the fuck open.
And I'm gonna say this respectfully though, like before Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Tua was working with like Devin Parker, like, come on, man. Devontae Parker, like, come on, man. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is apples and oranges. Like,
they upgraded Dan in every position.
But if Tua can get better, I will say that's props on him. But we ain't going to act like a lot of them replays we see. Tyreek got to come back for a lot of them bombs.
Did you actually see some of this shit? He actually missed like 2 people wide the fuck open. He would have probably had 8 touchdown passes.
I agree. He played great, but like I said,
he played good.
No, he played really good that game. He played great, but like I said, if he continues, then I can say something. I wouldn't have been so fast to jump on him, but if he continues and then we see him like, damn, he really was.
But you can't say that because of the talent.
This is also, you got to take this into consideration. This is with football. Your situation can dictate your career.
Right.
You could be a bull, but if you on a team that won't allow you to thrive,
just like Brown was saying, like that talent that came
but let me ask, it's a difference if you said Flores had Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill for 2 years, and Tua didn't do nothing, and all of a sudden Flores left. And they eye-popping 6-7 touchdowns a game. No, that didn't happen. He didn't have them, so you can't judge that on the same stuff.
So that same game, you would have put let's put Kirk Cousins in that same position. He would have had a ball down game.
Kirk Cousins probably had 10 touchdowns.
Yes, Kirk Cousins would have. Okay, he probably would have been better.
All right, not just with Minnesota. Think
but
about
when Washington,
And let me rebuild on what I was saying as far as your situation can dictate your career. I give you a prime example. Think about Jeremy Lin. He was in the league for quite a while with Golden State.
Right.
And he never seen the light of day. He got to New York and finally got some time. And look what he did in that short amount of time. He shined. So it depends on your coach with his philosophy. All that shit takes place.
System matters, but you need players. The system don't matter if you don't have the players.
Now we got the talent.
You know what I mean? The NBA and the Players Association, they talking about dropping the mandatory league to play in the league back down to 18, meaning high schoolers can go straight to the NBA. Keep it a scene-o, how y'all feeling about it?
I feel like it should have never even been a cap on it, because think about it. Think about the sports that's dominated by white guys. Hockey, baseball. Them dudes can go straight from high school, and it's never stopped. Like, at one point, from NBA, you can go straight from high school.
Right.
But they stopped.
Right.
Baseball and hockey, that shit never stopped. You can go. Some of them dudes get drafted and never even play.
Right.
So at the end of the day, basketball, they stopped that shit because they know basketball and football and college makes all the money.
Right.
One sport makes enough money to pay for all the sports in that college.
Right.
That's $1 billion business. So why not hold these boys back and saying they went from high school only now it's 1 year, and they're saying it works, but that's bullshit. Because think about some of the best players in the history of the NBA were high school dudes. Kobe, KG.
Right, but that's rare though, because for every Kobe you gonna get a Darius Miles.
Okay.
For every KG you gonna get a Kwame Brown. We're not gonna do that.
Daryl Dawkins.
Yes, and for a Daryl Dawkins, you gonna get another dud nigga
that
was strict.
Yeah.
You get
but I'm talking about. I understand you're talking about the medium, but I'm talking about some of the best players to ever do it.
Right,
but high school players.
But what about the Desmond Masons and all of them that wasn't nothing?
Okay, but listen, either J.R. Smith
Eddie Curry,
the best player, but J.R. Smith was 6th man of the year. He was a good player.
Yeah, I mean,
all them dudes that do 4 years in college that ain't shit. 12th man on the bench.
Right.
Most dudes that came from high school actually did something in the league.
Well, if they came from high school and they playing in college, most likely them 12 dudes on the bench did something too in high school.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about they went to college and played. Them dudes, they're saying that the reason why they want them to get at least 1 year is because you get more experience. But that doesn't mean shit if you're that guy. Right.
But the thing is, what I was making out of that is it started becoming a time where everybody was jumping into the league just cause. Just because you average 33 against kids don't mean you ready for the NBA. And that's what we started having. But what's your thoughts, John?
That come out of college that came from high school?
I wish it was something that for like an age limit to 20, 21. But I'm all about rules. Like Kobe, the McGrady's, the Dwight Howard, all them that came in through high school. I can't debunk what happened in the past, so I don't want to mess up what's happening in the future. But the only thing is that, like Brian was saying, when these kids, they come out too early, sometimes I don't think they're all the way there. Sometimes it was extra year in college, they help or whatever. else you're dealing with. And sometimes those year maturity for you to figure
That's
out
true,
but like it doesn't happen for every single case. Not every player is the same. So I mean, you're gonna get them nice gems, but then a lot of times you're gonna get some rocks.
A good majority of them dudes that came high school are Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, but I want to do the flip side of it because to me it's a gift and a curse. I'm cool with it because you should be able to be 18 and make as much money as you want. But also I'm cool with it because all the one and done stuff with college killed college basketball. It made college basketball horrible. Now why I dislike it is because if you look the last couple years, now we get special kids every year. But let's look at some of these guys that was one and done that maybe could have went straight to the NBA, like a Kid Gilchrist who's no longer in the league. What's the boy that with Bennett that was
in the league for 10 plus years.
Yes, but what I'm saying is he was in the league. Now I'm just saying dudes right now. What's the boy Bennett that got drafted by Cleveland #1? Where a one and done? Where is he?
But let me give you the best
but hold on, let me finish though. Let's take somebody like Ja Morant. Wasn't scouted like that. He played the extra year in college. Ja Morant is better than 10 times better than most of these guys. You still get the Tatums here and there, but we get a lot of hit and miss because I'm gonna say this respectfully because this your team. Like R.J. Barrett, we've been hearing about him for years before he came to the NBA or Kentucky. But after watching him play, and he's getting better, but his career would be dead right now if he came straight from the NBA.
No,
with Andrew Wiggins, a guy who you gotta do CPR to give him hype. All that hype he had coming out of school, his career would be dead right now if he came straight out of high school.
Not in this era.
In this era, yes.
They still would keep him around to this point.
No,
at the end of the day, they still would be.
Yeah, but what I mean dead is if you're on a team just a 12 man or you're getting 3 minutes, that's dead in the NBA, bro.
Bryant is one of the best players ever done straight out of high school. But my point is, I give you a prime example. A dude from Philly, Marvin O'Connor. In the NCAA tournament,
right?
I don't know if y'all know who Casey Jacobs is. He wound up getting drafted by Phoenix, white guy. I think he played for Stanford. Marvin O'Connor killed him. Marvin O'Connor could have been the top. He could have been a lottery pick if he came out that year, but he decided to go back to college and wound up never getting drafted.
Right. Shout out Marv too. Marv was definitely nice.
I don't give a fuck what the case is. If you that guy, you got to take your opportunity at that time. And like I said, some of the top players, Hall of Famers, are dudes that came straight from high school. Yeah, but
I wrap it up like this. How many guys in the last 10 years, just from 2012 to now, have come after playing one and done that you can say they're instant, if their careers is over, they instant Hall of Famers? Because I don't think it's fair to put Kobe and them was different monsters, not just different. When the game was totally different, they came up playing the game. Even though they all I say they benefited from the rule changes, they still came up when fundamentals this is not that era. We don't get fundamental players no more coming out of high school that's fundamentally sound. So I'm saying that we'll come back to this next week, but just think about it from 2012 to even to now. Like even Kyrie, one and done. He's a great player. But if his career ended right now, is he Hall of Famer? Yes? I say no.
I give you a guy who
I say no.
Aspect, but it ain't over here because overseas. Think about all them dudes that come from overseas and they're gonna become Hall of Famers. Them dudes is basically not college one and done because they be fucking pros since 15.
Yeah, they be old. A lot of them niggas be older.
No, but I'm saying guys like Tony Parker who was a pro since 15. Luke,
right.
Them dudes is gonna be Hall of Famers and they didn't play one game of college.
Yeah, but they're different because they're playing with grown men in grown men leagues since 15. These guys is kids that's trying to go straight to a grown man league.
You that guy who you play.
Yeah, I'm just saying it ain't a lot of that guys. I say Jason Tatum.
Ben Simmons, straight out of high school, he's another one. Wouldn't have made it. What's your thought?
Simmons would have made it in any era. Especially
it made it what on a bench?
Back in the
Can you just
80s
clarify
90s,
what's if you're saying Kwame Brown numbers? Is that made it?
No.
So what has made it then?
What are you talking about? Ben Simmons don't got Kwame Brown numbers. Ben
What I'm saying is a lot of them guys when they came out with that hype, like John just said. Where you go at as a kid, you're not ready to handle that. So most of these kids that's nice in high school, once they got in the league and got treated for a year or two and couldn't get off like they was getting off, they would be non-factors.
As much hate as Ben Simmons receives, you can even go look up Hall of Fame guards from the history. How many of them dudes average 15, 8, and 8? And he's not even a fucking scorer. Ben Simmons, we all know he's not known for scoring, but he averaged 15 points. Some of them dudes in the Hall of Fame didn't average 15 points.
I understand that, but to wrap it up, I will say all I'm going to do is base Ben Simmons off of other guys that I know is 6'9" and up to handle the ball like him. No, I'm just saying that's what I'm going to do. So when you say when you say 15, 8, and 8, that's who I'm gonna say. Well, Magic was 6'9", and Magic right here, Ben Simmons down here. Case over.
Magic known as a scorer, yes. Magic was more of a scorer than Ben Simmons.
Magic had heart. Ben Simmons don't got no heart. That's what I'm.
You have heart to be able to score the basketball.
Yes, you do.
You don't.
The perfect situation. Why Ben Simmons ain't in Philly no more? Because he didn't shoot the layup when he was supposed to when he passed the ball. That takes heart. He didn't have the heart to do it.
Question. Is he still in the league? And
he ain't played since then.
Strictly because
he ain't heart. No, he could have played, but he was heartbroken. Listen, keep it a C note, people. How you feel about it? NBA, they're changing. They're talking about changing the rules, letting kids come straight out of high school again. How you feel about it? You cool with it? Keep it a C note. The city of Philadelphia, John gave me some numbers. Shootings in the city with kids that's younger than 18. It's been 165 so far right now. That's 10%. And people 18 to 30s at 846 shootings from people 18 to 30. 49% of the shootings in the city. Deaths. Kids younger than 18 is 24.7%. 18 to 30, 102 killings for people that's 18 to 30. That's 48% of the killings in the city. I want to ask everybody, if you were 13 to 18, I don't care what era you come from, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, you're 13 to 18 growing up in this era, do you think your childhood and life would be different? Keep it a C note.
Yeah, every era you're going to be in is going to be different.
Why? Different in which way?
Every way. Think about it. We didn't have the internet and all that shit. Think about how many young black millionaires there are every year strictly due to the internet.
Right.
We didn't have that. So every era you grow up in is going to be different.
Right.
Like we got different morals, like as far as rules of engagement.
Right.
A lot of these motherfuckers will shoot you with your mom, your grandma, your kids.
Right.
We wouldn't do that.
Right.
The eras that makes the difference.
What you got to say, John?
I agree. If I came up in this era, I'd be all jacked up. But I'm serious. Who knows where I'd be? I think it's more avenues for you to make money in this era. But back then, I don't know. It was just different.
Right. I've always been on record saying that I think I would have had issues in this era because I wasn't a bully or a troublemaker, but I always seemed to get in a lot of stuff. And I think it would have affected everybody because I just think back to a situation with you, John. I'm fresh out of juvenile facility. I'm going to high school one day. Me and Jew, shout out Jew, we go down your way to play basketball. Mm-hmm. And at this time, we were 10th grade. It was a kid around your way that was supposed to be that guy at the playground you went to. And I remember I had gotten locked up on this same night, but I remember one day, that day that I got locked up, me and Jew was in your neighborhood, playing basketball, arguing with all the dudes at the joint. You know what I mean? Especially the dude that was supposed to be that guy. And it was almost a whole situation there. But I look at it today. See, in our era, basketball players and sports players was off limits. But I look at it today, the way we carried on, you would have had a problem today. In today's era, them dudes that we're talking about from your neighborhood, they would have had an issue from you, might have smoked you, might have did anything, tried to get you to line me up. So I think even with that, it would have been different, even with the internet. Like, you knowing all the research you know now, do you think you would have went to college if you was from this era?
Nope.
When you would look at college totally different just because you think it's rhetoric and all of that.
That's gonna be part
so
of what I say with your chest, but I'll say that for later.
Yeah, so I just think things would totally be different for me. What's your thoughts though, people? Again, if you 70s, 80s, or 90s or 2000s era, you were 13 to 18 growing up in this era. Do you think your childhood or life would be different? And this is mostly I wanted to ask that question because we got a lot of guys our age that be criticizing the young boys today. And I was one of them guys. So I actually realized, like, this is just what's going on with the era. And if I was in this era, I know that some way or another I would have been a part of it. So you can't really knock nobody for that. Feeding off of that, no cat or call them a Uber. Today's era has so much and little promise. In the 90s, we had so little but so much promise. Is that no cat or call them a Uber?
That's no cat.
Why you say that, Vito?
Because say that one more time so I make sure I
Today's era has so much and so little promise, but the 90s era had so little with so much promise.
Yeah, that's no cat because these young boys have everything at their fingertips. They will take full advantage of it, and we made more out of less when we was young.
Okay. What's your thoughts, John?
Same thing, but like nowadays you got a lot more people going after like that thing, whatever you're going after. Like back then, I think it was more avenues where it wasn't as much people. Like nowadays, everybody's on everything nowadays. So,
right.
I mean, it's less of a promise. There's more opportunities now, but everybody's trying to jump on it, so it's less of a that you'll get it. But back then, I think you had a better chance.
Okay. Yeah, I semi-agree with y'all, but I want to ask y'all a question, another question. Us that was raised in the 90s, kids that was born in the 80s, are we from the era of arrogance? Like, are we extra arrogant? Was our era extra arrogant? Yeah, no?
No, I think they're more arrogant now than we were.
Yeah, definitely now.
Okay, this the reason why I say that, right? Because in our era, coming up, you in middle school, high school, somebody asks you, what do you want to do when you grow up? You say, I want to play in the NBA. Only in our era. Our era, they would tell you, oh, man, everybody don't make it to the NBA. You really got to be good. You got to be. That's the first thing 9 times out of 10 somebody would tell you in our era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go off of the theory where I'm talking to my son, and he said, yeah, I think about playing in the NBA, and I tell him, you know what? Everybody don't make it to the NBA. Sometimes you don't be tall enough. Sometimes this, that, and the third. And he tells me, even if I don't make it to the NBA, I can go overseas and play. I can do this, that, and the third. And I say, did we come from an arrogant era? Because nobody ever told us that. That the overseas has been out forever. Yeah. Nobody as a kid ever told you, like, Vito, if you don't make it to the NBA, you can go overseas and play and get some money and still be a professional ball player. Well, our whole life was NBA, NFL was all end all be all. Like, we didn't think about these other leagues, and now we got more leagues with the D League, but we did have the CBA and all that back then. But even colleges,
Back then, unless you was really into high school sports, they asked you what college you wanted to go to. It was a D1 school. You wasn't with no D2 school or D. But again, the arrogance and ignorant, we didn't know that those schools could still get us to be professional players. So that's why I say I think we were a little from the arrogant / ignorant era.
More ignorant, less arrogant.
Yeah, more ignorant. Because we didn't have that knowledge of.
Yeah. They have the knowledge and they still don't give a fuck. Because most of these, and this goes back to what you're saying, college basketball being trash. Because a lot of these dudes with the talent don't give a fuck about basketball or sports. They rather be gamers.
Right. And the funny thing, I Vito with the basketball thing, because what was the Bel Air show, right? I seen something, but I noticed the Bel Air, the new one. It's Bel Air, right?
Yeah.
I noticed something, and we had the conversation before, like usually, because I guess we don't have a success rate that high, you don't really hear about a lot of kids that was nice in juvenile facility that went on to be the man in like a professional league or something. Because even like on the episode of Bel Air, the first episode, where young boy is the man now in basketball, but remember the old guy got locked up. They had to play one-on-one. But even his whole dialogue with that was, didn't respect the guy that was the man playing basketball and placement. So do you think people look at it, is that a stereotype because you didn't play high school ball or some type of ball?
Yeah, that's a stereotype. Because at the end of the day, some of the best dudes I ever seen play was in jail.
Right.
For example, coming out of juvenile facility, me and my man, we played on the basketball team in the juvenile facility.
Right.
Our coach had ties to Penn State Junior College coach.
Right.
They got me in the Penn State Junior College, but I never went on the strength that I still wanted to be in the street.
Right.
So it's no telling what could have came from that.
Right. But flip side of that, before we get to the next topic, right? You never went because it wasn't the actual Penn State, right? But let me ask you this: if it was Duke or Michigan or one of them schools, you think you would have went?
Absolutely.
Yes, because at the end of the day, like, even though that was school and it was an opportunity, because you would have went to school and learned you can go overseas and play professionally and all that.
Yeah, that was far from
Right. At the end of the day, though, a lot of us looked at it like, even when I had a scholarship to play Buffalo State, I'm looking at it like, Buffalo State, where the fuck is that at? Like, they ain't getting nobody in the NBA. And that was my whole thing. But to end it off, let me ask y'all a question. We'll pick a couple of football games, but what we see with social media, all the telling, all the stuff that you see going on in social media. No cat, call them a Oouuber. The DVD era is the prototype for the social media era. And what I mean by that is, when we started getting these DVD tapes, seeing people, especially blacks, doing stuff stupid on tape, incriminating themselves on tape, do you think that it clicked in the people, the higher powers, that we can get them to incriminate themselves at a faster rate, at a live rate, and that was sort of the blueprint? Keep it a C-note.
I think that was the next step of like technology evolution and AB side for cassette, and you had the CD there, then the DVD or whatever.
Right.
But because you also had those white folks that were doing bump fights on DVDs and those other stuff. But I think the internet is something that I mean, I think that they planned for it.
Right.
They knew it was coming. That was just the next stage of technology. I think it affected everyone. But I think there is a movie behind us being on that Instagram. But I think it was just that it was going to have to be like the next step of.
What's your thoughts? Vito? Do you think it was the prototype?
Absolutely, because it was the DVD I used to watch. called Hood to Hood. They used to go hood.
I was going to say about that DVD. Yeah,
all over the United States, Hood to Hood, and they used to be doing the dumbest shit.
I think that was the DVD what kind of broke the straw on the camel's back because I remember on that DVD where the boy said he showed them his stash spot, right? And I don't know, I'ma just freestyle the number. He like, this like 60,000 right here. He like, I'd never show y'all where the real stash spot at. Oh, y'all really want to see the real stash spot? He went to drop ceiling and had like 100,000. When I seen that, and I seen dudes on because they was in Philly too. They had Reem Nice on there from Slate. They was on, when I seen dudes on there on camera telling, and in hindsight, you didn't know this was coming, but when you look back at it, you like, damn, that shit started right there. Niggas doing stuff, rappers doing the stuff, the other rappers started on the DVD era, pulling guns out on them, punching on them and all that. So I don't know. I would say yes, too. It was definitely the prototype. They seen that they can get people to tell at a fast rate on themselves, and, you know, they ran with it. But Thursday night football, we got Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Who you like?
I like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going Pittsburgh.
Okay, I'm taking Cleveland. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with Trubisky.
I forgot that Trubisky and what's something like this. Then they running back hurt. Ain't they running back hurt?
He must be hurt. He ain't doing nothing. Najee Harris. He ain't doing nothing.
I'm still riding with Mike Tomlin.
Detroit Lions at the Vikings. Vikings. I'm going to call it an upset. I think Detroit gets the upset.
Detroit has been looking good. But
yeah, and I just think they might give us a wave with Detroit, even if they don't make it.
They're the only team who scored 35 points in both games.
Yeah.
They missing something, though. They missing one
small piece. They not missing none. They need to run the ball more. And Goff be loving ball too sexy. He only throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He don't throw to nobody else. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Who you got?
Tampa.
I'm taking Tampa as well. So we all think Green Bay going to 1-2.
I told you this year, like, I don't think this is gonna be their year at all. I think this is gonna be a bad look.
Let me get my helmet right now. Sunday night football. We got the 49ers at Denver to play the Broncos. Who you got?
I'm gonna just say this. I got us, but Russ he's had two.
He owns y'all.
Yeah, he owns.
Just say that.
He owns us. I can definitely say that he owns us. We have two problems as 49ers. Bad weather, we don't play good, and against mobile quarterbacks, we don't play good. They usually get good. They get better against us. And Russ hasn't been playing good, so he's due for a good game. But I still think we'll win that game.
Who you got, John?
I still got San Fran, even though my man, what's it, Eli Mitchell, he out. They got the boy, Elijah Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
he out.
Man, anybody could play running back for them boys, man.
Yeah, I still got them over because there's a lot of shit going on behind closed door with Denver, and until they get their shit together, I ain't put my money.
Listen, I'm not sold on Denver, but I think with playing quarterback is like fighting somebody, and after you lost a couple fights, sometimes it's good to get in the ring with somebody that you done beat up on so many times. So I'm going to say Denver wins the game, and Russell and look the best that they look.
That's the only thing I'm trading because he hasn't looked good lately.
Yeah,
his two top receivers did go out last week.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose, but I'm just saying I just think that this is, even if it's just for a week, where Russ may look like Russ, maybe because he knows like how your coach going to scheme.
I think Jimmy G gonna show out.
Yeah, before we get out of here, Vito, how you feeling? Jimmy G is back, baby.
I've been saying it for the season started. Jimmy G should have been the starting quarterback. I don't feel like Trey was ready.
Keep it a C note right now. Yes or no, Vito? And we not wishing injury on nobody, but Trey Lance injury saved you a couple grades? Yeah or no?
No, because I still think Trey was going to win some games. I don't think he will win as many games as Jimmy, but I think the defense would have helped Trey out more. But at the end of the day, the coach, the design runs for the quarterback, that is a mistake. But I still think we could have made the playoffs with Trey because he would have got better as the game going on.
Okay. What's your thoughts, John? How you feel they got Jimmy G now? You reconsidering their playoff team?
I mean, they definitely got the talent to be a playoff team, but it all depends on that quarterback. I hate to put a brother on the bench with Trey Lance, whatever, but I mean Jimmy G.
His ankle broke. He ain't got no choice but to be on.
He's looking better anyway, so I mean y'all do have a chance.
Yeah, y'all got it. Listen, it's the NFL. Everyone has a chance.
We a playoff team.
Listen,
I mean, y'all got the defense.
Here's the thing.
We could have had Ace in there.
I'ma just say like this: Jimmy G is not the deciding factor until Kyle Shanahan shows me he can go in the NFL and have back-to-back winning seasons. I am not sold. I still don't think they're a playoff team. They may win one or two more games.
You see, we got the new Troy Polamalu, that boy Huff.
Who? Yeah, he nice. I ain't gonna lie. All right, we got any say it with your chest before we get out of here?
Yeah, I heard a clip from somebody I don't even like that much, but I'm an equal opportunity. Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Why you don't like Steve?
I don't like Steve Harvey.
Why you don't like Steve?
I think he's a tap dancing, shoe shining Uncle Tom of the highest order. But
dang,
I do. Let me say this before you go any further.
But he does.
Before you go further, do you have? I understand you have a problem with tap dancing, shoe shining, but is there a problem with somebody tap dancing and shoe shining to get in position?
And he admitted that. But
once you're in position, then you can explode.
Nah, that ain't
cool. No, because sometimes I kind of wake up and look in the mirror and look at myself, and I can't do what he does. I can't.
You can't respect. I don't respect nobody like that.
Hold on. What is it that he
does? I won't get the specifics.
No, I'm talking about Brown. What is
if you going? Would you say toe tap?
He do?
Listen, let me just add. What did you say? Toe? How you say it?
He said
I said he was shoe
shine. Yo, tap dance. If you want tap dance and shoe shine like that.
Example of tap dance and shoe shine that he did.
Like I'm just saying, being a puppet. If you
can pretty much say that about anybody in that.
Yeah, I mean, I do say that about most people. John has selected few that he's going to point out. I don't know why, but my thing is, if you come off as and I'm not just talking about entertainers. You work a job and you come off as the puppet at the job. The guy that's just gonna do too much and all of that. You're not. It's hard to respect somebody like that because at the end of the day, they're liable to do anything for possession.
Hard to respect somebody who's an overachiever and he wants to go above and beyond to do his job. Now I can see if you're a snitch and you're telling on the other workers, but if you're just doing your job, time out.
I don't even want to confuse things. I didn't actually mean Steve Harvey. I just meant when he said that. What'd you say?
Toe tap and shoe shine.
Yeah, I just saying I don't got no respect for them. I'm not deliberate, single-handedly pointing on Steve Harvey out. That was his thing. I'm just saying anybody.
A lot of people give Steve Harvey flack, but I don't know exactly. I thought about it. I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I'm just saying anybody. But I mean, go ahead, John. Maybe you can. I don't know if you can enlighten us.
But I'm gonna just get the topic of what he said though. And it kind of caught me off guard because it was something that me and you were talking about before with the education system. And I think it's all basically bullshit. It's all about money.
Right.
All them indoctrinating and saying your name under your master's degree or whatever.
Right.
And the third. But let's say you're an Ivy League student. You want to go to Penn, Princeton, Harvard or something like that. Let's say you go there for 4 years, hypothetically $50,000 a semester, $100,000 a year, $400,000 altogether, right?
Right.
Imagine what you could do with a $400,000 loan to start your business. What would you do right now with $400,000? Why are we giving these universities all this money when we can invest in ourselves? It's harder, it's hard for us to get a personal loan, but if it's for a school loan or a fucking car or something like that, for us to shove ourselves in debt, they don't mind that shit. Housing market, that's a different story. But that
how about for business loans? They don't care about that.
They do. It depends on who you are.
No, I'm asking.
Business loans, there's loopholes definitely that you could get in through some business loans, but not everybody has the resources to do that. And I wish that more people would look into that instead of going to school Like, after that, take yourself out a nice personal loan. You're going to be paying back to Sally Mae or whoever the fuck you are going to be paying
Either
back
way,
to.
right?
Either way.
Yeah.
So pay that loan back and do what you want to do. If you want to be an artist, a clothes maker, take out a big ass fucking loan and do what you got to do. Chase your fucking dream. Because who's to say, like, a lot of these people, they graduate with a degree and not even doing what the hell they would graduated with.
Say you're gonna be able to get that.
Right.
And that's the bad part about it, is that why should I be able to qualify for a Sally Mae loan, or whatever type of loan for a school, but when it's for myself, it's a problem.
Because it's the rich feeding the rich. So they stay rich.
But see,
money.
That's one way to keep us down, because I wish that we would all invest in ourselves. We need to be our own entrepreneurs and stop depending on them. I hate that shit, man.
But where the money come from? See, this is my thing with the entrepreneurship, right?
Before you say that, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Not just that, John. You do a lot of us thing, and the brother's name would be on the screen because we just had a brother from Philly where he opened up a supermarket.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But just think about how hard that is. Pause. And because what I'm saying is, any business you have, say you selling T-shirts and all that, like the average person in the hood, they'll spend $70, $80 on a name brand T-shirt. But they don't know the person from a can of paint. They can't even pronounce it, but everybody else is wearing it. But your homie is selling a shirt for $15, $20. You won't support it, or you'll try to get a deal. You can own a corner store. Like, nobody is going to go to the Asian store or the Poppy store down there. Well, you got some people with the Poppy stores, but nobody's going to go in the store and be like, yo, Pop, let me get this, that, and the third on credit. But why are they going to try to go to John's store?
Because...
And they'll do the same thing, but when they get their money, they won't spend with you.
Well, these rappers, they did their job and they ran that movie by going on whatever video, promoting whatever.
But I'm not just saying rappers. I'm just saying.
I know, but the rappers, regular Joe, they're gonna be following it. Like, they see them wearing that, I'm wearing that. They're not wearing you, and that's the sad thing about it. I would like to see. I hate like name brand, like that Tommy Hilfiger and all that bullshit. They don't give a fuck about us, and I would rather contact and buy from someone that I can actually talk to. A lot of these vendors and shit that I buy off of, like these small shops on Instagram, I can actually talk to the actual owner and shit. Like, you can't do that shit now.
Even like let's say, for instance, you selling waters.
Uh-huh.
You selling your waters for $1. But the Puerto Rican store or the Asian store down the street, they selling their waters for $1.50. Your people. Time out. When your people, when they don't have the dollar, they'll come to you. Yo, Vito, can I owe you $1? Let me get a water. But the next day, when they got $2, they gonna walk right past you and spend that $1.50 somewhere else.
I know where you getting that
No, but it's that's a level of
I'm getting the concept, period, because it'd be like, it's hard to start any business when, you know, people don't support, or people only going to use you as a crutch and say they're the supporter.
Discount, or the people who know you,
but 9 times
who don't know you is not
the average person that don't know you, you're right. But what I'm saying is, 9 out of 10 of the people in your neighbor, I'm not gonna say your homies, but in your community, they're gonna walk past you with that $2 and go spend that $1.50, and then tomorrow when they don't have $1, $2, and they come ask you, Vito, can I get one tilted money? You be like, no. I'm like, damn, Vito be on some nut stuff, this, that, and the third.
And the sad part is that they don't take that bullshit at those other stores. They wouldn't dare ask them for a deal or let me get you back to the. You only do that. We only do that shit to us,
and we got it counted for.
No, but see, that's the shit.
But
that's the cycle that gotta stop with us.
That's why I'm saying it, because John is always saying about the supporting thing, and we need to have more businesses. But a lot of times, like I said, because your homies, a lot of times, or the people you call your homies, will be the ones that'll bring you down.
But on the flip side, You can't necessarily say it ain't. I understand in certain aspects it's not, but think about Sean John, Fubu, Rockefeller. Even though I know other races bought that shit, but
they all sold
the
them.
fact that black people made it what it is, we control the culture.
Right.
Black people bought that shit, so black people do support.
But we can't own the culture.
Yeah, but you're only gonna support what you think that the cool people or the higher ups are into.
So think about it. If you're supporting, think about it. You're supporting Prada, Gucci, and all that, which black people don't own. On the flip side, black people come out with Sean John, Rockefeller, Fubu, and then you do support that shit. That shit do numbers. Like, what more do you want?
Yeah, but what even with that, your homie, your right hand man is gonna spend $60 for that shirt with that name on it, but he's gonna tell you your shirt for $20 is too much.
Yep.
Or your man is going to go down to that corner store and spend extra money, but then try to come and short you for the same thing that he just spent top dollar for. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, but to me, that's part of the reason. Like, I don't think, and this no stereotype of trying to be funny. Like the way Puerto Ricans dominate in our neighborhood with the stores and all that. I don't think it could be black people from the community owning them stores like on every block. People would have us so much in debt.
But they'll put a fucking church on the block. Though.
No, I don't think. Why don't we then?
Think about it. I don't know why we don't, but if all them Puerto Rican stores is owned by black people that are not from that neighborhood, they just thrive. If you're from that neighborhood, that's what everybody's gonna say. Yo, they, a discount because
Asians
I know you.
And Latinos, they put
we
these
don't know
stores
them guys,
in
so
these black neighborhoods to thrive off of us.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if every Puerto Rican store was owned by a black person, but they're not from that hood, you're not inclined to ask them for a discount because you don't know them.
Outside of
but you more than likely, if out of if you take 10 people that went into one of them stores, whether it's a Puerto Rican that they don't know of, a black person they don't know, and ask for credit, 9 times out of them.
In the Puerto Rican store, you hear motherfuckers say, "Hey, pop."
No, I know.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. No, I know people be like that.
Of a black corner store or
no?
That's a shame, man. Like all the stores
there used to be.
Yeah, there used to be, but what I'm saying, I don't. That's why I don't think it could be a bunch of black stores like on every corner, like we have Chinese stores or we have Poppy stores like that.
And we had them beer stores. We got churches. We got everything.
And if you take in every neighborhood, if every neighborhood got three Poppy stores, and you take one of them stores away from the Poppies in every neighborhood and put one black, the 2 Poppy store numbers is gonna still be way more higher.
It all depends on your inventory.
Not unless you got a hand. Not unless you cooking and you can will them in. But I'm talking about just y'all all got the same regular stuff. Them Poppies gonna get more price.
It depends on prices and inventory. If you keep your inventory up and your prices are the same.
If your price is the same,
if
your prices is the same in the hood, most people are going to come into the store and be like, "Dang, listen to what I'm going to." Hold on, time out. What I'm saying is, we all selling the same product for $1.50, but them other 2 stores is Puerto Rican stores, right, or Dominican store. The first thing most brothers is going to say is, "Damn, the brother's supposed to have it cheaper. You supposed to be fun." Yes, they are, Vito. Come on, man. Come on, man.
That has to do with relationships.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro.
That is the anchor in black consumers,
I can give you the best
bro.
example. I could be the black store, and you could be the Puerto Rican store. I can have my prices higher. If my relationship with you is better, if they treat you like shit when I come and buy, they're not gonna fuck with you, and that's the problem. Most black people have that attitude.
And I'll flip it like this: you got sky high prices, I got regular prices. We both treat them so.
They're gonna go to the regular prices.
Exactly.
But if I got higher prices than you, slightly higher, but you're an asshole and I'm a nice guy, they're gonna go to me even though
but if higher. That asshole is gonna let you go every once in a while when you ain't got it,
do with relationships.
Yeah, with that, because a motherfucker be like, "Man, Poppy ignorant as shit," but when I ain't got it, he let me go. So you know what I mean?
He create that.
But is that all we got before we get out of here?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all.
People, we about to wrap this episode up. Again, we appreciate you for tuning in. Again, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, please hit the sub button, hit the like button. As always, I am your boy Brown. To the left of me, we got
your boy John.
And to the left of John, we
Vito
got
in the building.
Shout out to Vito, all anxious, pause. We up out of here, people. Please tell a friend to tell everybody. Keep the C note. We'll holla at y'all.
Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da.